What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream. Happy Monday. I was going to say Declan Rice week, but maybe Declan Rice week is over now. We got to create new history, man, and go to the Bernabeu and complete the job. You know, there's no point celebrating that first leg game too much if we don't get through the second leg. So it is what it is. The Brentford game, I mean, to be honest, the less said about that game, the better. But we are going to briefly go back over that game and just quickly do the player ratings. I'll be honest, I can barely remember how anybody played in that game because it's a game I'm trying to put out of my mind. But we will quickly go over it. Press conferences tomorrow. And then we will really look ahead to Real Madrid. Which is the big one, people, the big one. You have to complete the job, you know. We'll look back over the weekend's results, this, that, the other. United got battered again by Newcastle. They seem to get battered by everyone. Tottenham got battered by Wolves. They get battered by everyone. Cunha again, cooking. Bring him to the carpet. I want him, but it looks like Man United might be getting him, which is annoying. Chelsea drew with Ipswich. They're all over the place. The manager's blaming their fans, so they're in a bit of disarray. And we drew 1-1. It was a stinker of a game, let's be honest. I think pretty much the majority of our Premier League games are going to be very boring, which is what it is. Listen, if we can do something in the Champions League, I don't care what happens in the Premier League the rest of this season. As I said, though, 12 draws in the Premier League this season. To me, a top quality striker probably fixes a lot of that. You know, I think a lot of those games where you think good striker would have won us those games. So we do need to improve. I think what we learnt from Saturday's game as well, and even me a little bit as well, I'm going to be totally honest. You know me, I like to be honest on this channel. Martinelli has a few good games, and I start thinking, have we got Martinelli back from 2 years ago? And then he drops a performance like that on Saturday, and I'm like, don't get caught up in anything that this guy does. We need a left winger, and we need a starting left winger. For me this summer, Trossard, go and catch a flight, get yourself out of here. Martinelli, you're an impact player off the bench, and you bring a new left winger in because we've got a problem at left wing. We've got a problem. Martinelli just isn't consistent. Trossard, I think it's time to get rid of him. But listen, is what it is. We'll focus on Real Madrid. We'll look back briefly on that game. And we'll talk transfers. Interesting news surrounding Thomas Partey. Will he be fit for the Real Madrid game? It's looking more positive than not. And then the bigger question with Thomas Partey, will he be at the club next season? If the reports are true, then it looks like he might not be at the club next season. So let me know your thoughts on that, people. Last of them said I'd sell both. I mean, listen, I think the problem you've got is Berta's got so much work to do this summer. What you don't want to do is give him extra work on top of it. You've got to think he's got to get Gabriel, Saliba and Saka to sign new contracts. He's got to sell Sambi Lokonga, probably Reece Nelson, from the loan deals. Then you're looking at Tierney, Jorginho leaving on a free, maybe Partey on a free, and you're looking at the likes of Zinchenko, you could be looking at Kivior, you could be looking at Trossard, and then he's actually got to go into the market and maybe go and buy Zubimendi, Nico Williams, Gyökeres, a goalkeeper. That guy is going to be working the whole of this summer. It's going to be crazy. Big up everyone locked in. Laura said no notification. YouTube, come on, man. What are you doing to me here? We're trying to work. You're not even notifying the people then. Make sure you've clicked the notification bell and it's on all. So every piece of content, you're notified. Tomiyasu. The only thing I would say, Tomiyasu ain't leaving this summer. He's out until December. No one's going to buy an injured player who's injured for that long. I just want to say on Jimbo's comment there about, and I've seen a lot of people saying this, Partey's case is the reason he's not travelling. He played against Girona. He's been to Spain already. A lot of people trying to say, oh, he's not injured. He can't play against Madrid because it's in Spain. He was there when we went to Girona. So I think that's already been put out the window. You know, it is a genuine injury. It's nothing to do with anything like that. So, yeah. But listen, big up to everyone locked in. Really appreciate your support. I just missed that comment where he said about Barcola. I think Barcola is somebody that could be looked at because he was seen as like the young star player at PSG, but I think Desiree Doué has kind of pushed him to the bench. So could there be an opportunity to get Barcola from PSG? I don't know. We do need a left winger. Nico Williams did score a brilliant goal at the weekend. Left foot bent in the top corner. We know that's the #1 priority for Arteta, but we do need to have backup plans in case Nico Williams doesn't join Arsenal. Listen, big up to everyone locked in. Appreciate your support as always. We're 30 subscribers away. 30 subscribers away from 92k. I'm sure there's plenty of you in the comments that aren't subscribed. Be a part of the channel and get us over the line for 92k people. Let me go in slow mode, by the way, because the comments are flying in and I'm not in slow mode. Can't keep up with it. Anyway, let's talk Thomas Partey. Let's start by talking about potentially the injury and a bit of insight in what is happening around that. Things I've heard, things you may have read as well. Now, Arteta said in the press conference after the game, Thomas Partey felt something, so we didn't want to take any risks. We don't know. I haven't spoken to the doctors yet. Believed to have been a twinge in the groin. And obviously, if he has twinged his groin, he's very unlikely to be playing against Real Madrid. You're not going to recover from that in the space of a few days. It's not going to happen. He then said, with Ben White, we don't know. He wasn't in condition to make the squad today to be selected. We have a few days, so let's wait and see. Ben White is clearly struggling to reach full fitness. And often when you have an injury that leads to an operation in football, you can have little breakdowns in other parts of the body. And Ben White seems to be struggling physically at the moment since coming back from injury. Unknown C said the one player I didn't want to play against Brentford was Thomas Partey. Yeah, he's been pivotal for us. Salman said, Curtis, who was better, Henry, Bergkamp, or Bergkamp and Wright? So we're talking partnership, or I mean, I gotta go Bergkamp and Henry, to be honest. But Bergkamp and Wrighty were great, and Wrighty said Bergkamp took him to another level as a player. Listen, from what I've read afterwards and the things I've seen afterwards, a lot of you guys may have seen it as well. And I agree with you, Kells. When Arteta was asked about in the press conference, when I watched the press conference, he was smiling. He was smiling about it, and I'm thinking, well, if he's injured, why are you smiling? Also, Thomas Partey did an interview after the game with the media. Now, what a lot of people were saying was, when a player is injured, they don't do any interviews with the media because they don't want them to give anything away. Obviously, it's all mind games, Real Madrid. Is he going to be available? A lot of people were saying, Partey did the interview. When an Arsenal player gets injured, they're not allowed to do the interview. They're usually told to not speak to the press and go straight home. But apparently Partey did the interview. So, and also when he came off the pitch, he just seemed to be smiling and clapping. I'm thinking, well, if you've just done your groin and Real Madrid are on Wednesday, are you going to be smiling and clapping like that? I'd have a very disappointed look on my face. So I think he will play, personally. I hope I'm not wrong and it's just that smile to cover up a problem. But I've just got a feeling he will play against Real Madrid. Bear in mind, we need him to play. Not only because he's been playing very well, but also Jorginho came off with what people were saying could have been a suspected broken rib. So the fact of the matter is, if Partey didn't play, we would have a problem in the middle of midfield because Jorginho, the backup player, looks like he might not be available. Would that mean Marino has to go in midfield? Somebody goes up front. But I think he'll be okay. I think they're playing on it a little bit, which is all part of the game. I'll be very disappointed if he doesn't play because ultimately Partey at right back never seems to work. Whether he gets injured, whether we drop points, we don't win when Partey's at right back. Even though he scored a very good goal, if he misses the Madrid game, then it's obviously a massive loss for Arsenal, especially when you look at how he played the other day. Big up Matty said, Partey is fine. I think he was just ready to come off. I hope so. That's a good point, actually, you know, Crown. I actually didn't think of that. assuming Partey was out and Jorginho was out, you could actually put Lewis Skelly in midfield, play Tierney at left back. But would he be brave enough to do that? I think he would probably do this. Merino centre mid, Trossard up front. I don't want that. I'll be honest, and I don't mean to sound really bad when I say this. I've really had enough of watching Trossard play for Arsenal. It's something about the way he's performing just irritates me. And I tell you why. It's because Martinelli doesn't annoy me as much as Trossard, even when they're both playing bad. Because with Martinelli, he's a headless chicken, but at least he runs his socks off. And you just kind of think, well, you know, Martinelli has these games, but at least I know Martinelli walks off the pitch putting in a shift. I look at Trossard, I think, you're walking around like you've got the arrogance of like Haaland or Mbappe or someone, and then you score and, you know, you don't want to celebrate. Oh, I don't want to celebrate because I'm annoyed that you're not picking me, but when we pick you, you don't do anything. Do you know, like, I don't get it. Trossard should be counting his lucky stars. You've come from the Belgium league. You've ended up at Brighton. You've nicked a move to Arsenal. You've had multiple opportunities to cement that left wing spot where we're sitting here not even saying we need a left winger. Ultimately, you've failed. We've offered you a new deal and you've rejected it. And we rejected a move to Saudi and you've still got attitude. You've still got attitude, bro. You should be thanking your lucky stars. You're on 100 grand a week playing for Arsenal. And you're sulking like you're some top baller who we should be thankful that you're playing for us. Get rid of him in the summer. We don't need that attitude. The attitude's not even justified. I'll take it if he was a world beater. World beating player, I'll accept it. Yeah, there's a reason Brighton sold him for 27 million. Brighton are one of the best selling clubs in the Premier League. They don't sell anybody for cheap unless there's a contract issue. They sold him for 27 million. He needs to go for me this summer. We don't need that attitude. He needs to understand at this point in your career as a 30-year-old, you're a squad player and nothing else. That's the reality of the situation. Doctor said, disappointed we didn't see more academy players. Will this Butler Adeji ever get on the pitch for Arsenal first team? I don't know. They don't even show you what he is on camera. They don't show his face. He's just there. I don't know what's going on. Big up my bro Akeem. Rice has to go 6 if Partey is out. Can't afford to leak any goals. Yeah, he'd have to. He would genuinely have to. Just for the protection. We know we're going to have to protect. 100k subs and the Champions League title. I mean, yeah, that is the... that's what we want to happen towards the end of this season. It would be amazing. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Before we look back briefly through pretty much that snorefest of a game against Brentford, which I'm not going to talk about for too long because who really cares about it? Not a lot happened. Kylian Mbappe yesterday for Real Madrid. Absolute horror tackle. Never really seen Mbappe do this too much. He studs the guy, as you can see. Could have broke his leg. Luckily, the guy was sort of moving his leg as the tackle made contact. That's a definite leg breaker. Straight red for Mbappe. What I'm reading today, it's expected to be upgraded to violent conduct, which would mean 3 or 5 match ban for Kylian Mbappe. Unfortunately, from an Arsenal point of view, it doesn't affect the Champions League. This only affects the Copa del Rey and La Liga. The only good thing I would say... Yeah, no, he went full Raphael Ninja Turtle yesterday. I can't lie, people. The only good thing, Real Madrid had to play 60 minutes of that game yesterday with 10 men, which would have tired them out a little bit more, made it a lot more difficult game. They did win the game 1-0. Looking at their lineup, they did make changes yesterday. Vinicius Jr. and Bellingham and Luka Modric and Alaba were all dropped to the bench, although Bellingham and Vinicius did come on. Dani Ceballos is back in the squad, so he could possibly start against us, as apparently there's talk of Ancelotti making changes. You're right, Roy Keane would be proud. That's a proper Roy Keane on Erling Haaland. Not Erling, Alfinger Haaland, his dad. So listen, 60 minutes with 10 men. would have tied them out a little bit. Rudiger played, Asensio played, Courtois, Tchouaméni, who obviously is back from suspension on Wednesday. Camavinga will go out. So, yeah, and Bellingham and Vinicius came on. So they got a bit of a rest. But, of course, we played 24 hours earlier than them as well. So, to be honest, there's no excuse. There is no excuse for Arsenal. I saw a potential predicted 11. And it was saying Tchouaméni, Ceballos and Bellingham. So there's talk of Modric being dropped. As they said that physically he couldn't cope with our midfield. We're too quick for him. So this talk, I don't know how true this is, but I saw it on Madrid Extra, predicted lineup. They were saying Tchouaméni, Ceballos and Bellingham. One thing I'll say about Ceballos is a player that didn't work at Arsenal, but he does have quality on the ball, and he obviously has done well in La Liga. So, yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. Because they were saying initially maybe Valverde goes into midfield, Lucas Vazquez goes right back, but Vazquez is terrible at right back. I would love to see Vazquez at right back because I think we'd rip him apart. But anyway, we will see. The midfield isn't that good. I mean, it depends what we've got. That's the question. It depends. If Partey's out for us and Jorginho, how will our midfield look? But listen, Mbappe red card. I was hoping they drew the game because Ancelotti's under a lot of pressure, but still, it is what it is. Andrew said Madrid were playing 4-4-2. Bellingham on the left, Vinny a striker at the Emirates. Kamani said the challenge was horrible. Mbappe should get more than a domestic ban. A lot of people were saying that. Ban him for the Champions League. Don says Partey is definitely playing. I tend to think from everything I've read, from the way Arteta answered the question, the fact that Partey did the press conference after, I think he'll play. I see Turkish on his way to Madrid today. The road trip begins. Did you see some of the Alvarez fans holding an Arsenal shirt? Oh, I love that. Alaves, you've got a place in my heart now. You will be one of my teams in the Spanish league for that. Thank you very much. Alaves, well done. Anyway, who cares about Saliba? Who cares about Mbappe's in Saliba's pocket? Well, as I say, people, right, it's Monday. Brentford's out the way. I'm glad. Just get it over with. Who cares? I'm now thinking about Wednesday, and I'm excited and nervous. I'm more nervous about this game than I was the first game, because the first game, I kind of didn't expect us to win. So I felt like I had nothing to lose. It was just do your best. Anything better than a loss and we'll take it. You've won 3-0. So now you've given us all something. You've given us gold. We've got gold and diamonds to hang on to. So now we've got a lot to lose. So Barca fans were singing Rice's name, holding up the Arsenal. I mean, listen, I was always a Barca fan over Real Madrid. I'm not even just saying that. Just growing up, I loved all the Brazilian players. Romario, Rivaldo, R9, Ronaldinho. I always preferred Barca. I just started not to like Barca after UEFA cheated us. That was the problem. UEFA loaner. I still expect us to get through, right? It would be a catastrophe to not go through with a 3-0 lead. But I always say my issue is Arsenal. Arsenal are that team that sometimes they do crazy things, Arsenal. They do crazy things. There's one or two players in the team that I don't trust. And listen, you've got to keep them out as long as possible. What you can't do is go there and concede early and listen, the roof's going to be closed. They're doing everything to create an atmosphere. What gives me hope is we've just scored 3 goals against them. They're going to have to be even more attacking in this game. So I think we'll score. I think they'll leave big gaps, and I think we'll score. Bro, they are ready to snatch the gold chain. Anyone ever watch Friday After Next? Right? At the start of the movie, there's a guy dressed up as Santa Claus robbing the house. I feel like Real Madrid right now are Santa Claus trying to rob the house. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to take the Rolex, but oh no, not the Rolex. If you've watched Friday After Next, you're right there with me. Yeah, I'm telling you, Debo's coming. People are tucking in the chain. You know what I mean? Rolling up the sleeve, zipping up their pockets. Debo's coming, man. You know what I mean? But anyway, hopefully we'll be all right. Hopefully we'll be okay. If we can score early, we're good to go. Get the likes up, people. Let's get 1,000 likes. Tomorrow I'll be on in the day. Obviously, we'll do press conference reaction and that. And then tomorrow evening, we will be doing Villa PSG second leg. So we'll do that. That's my back, punk. You know what I mean? That's how they're trying to move. But yeah, we'll be doing Villa PSG tomorrow night. Daytime show tomorrow will be press conference reaction. We'll look ahead, see what's happening with the team news. And then obviously Wednesday will be the watch along. I may even go live Wednesday day. We'll have to see if there's enough news to talk about. But yeah, man. Lots of content. And then Thursday, we're doing Man United as well. So we're here all week, people. We're here all week. It's going to be a busy week. Lots to talk about. Hopefully, we're looking ahead to a semi-final. My grandmama gave me that chain. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, man. If you seen... They don't make movies like they used to, man. I swear down. I know I'm sounding old again doing up nostalgia, but... Them Friday movies, man, all 3 of them. I've watched all of them films about 15 times each. Probably know them word for word, but hey. The work rate's improving. Do you know what it is? Do you want me to tell you the truth? It's Easter half term. The kids are off. So I can just do loads of content. It don't matter if they're up late or whatever. There's no... Usually I'm like, oh, you know, it's got... So yeah, man. The road trip. Do you know what, Ash? I'll be totally honest with the community. And I said this last week. I hold my hands up. I hold my hands up. I did not fully believe. I'll be honest. Turkish approached me a couple of days after the draw was made. Real Madrid. He said, bro, got a ticket for you. £500. Just for the ticket, by the way. And then the road trip, obviously, you got to put towards the petrol and whatever. I think he's staying there for a few days. So in my head, I'm like, okay. 500 for the ticket, maybe £100 or £200 for the petrol, a few £100 for the hotel or whatever, because hotel prices have gone up because Arsenal are in town. So I'm thinking, I'm spending over £1,000. We could get beat in the first leg. Then I'm going to the Bernabeu on the back of a defeat. I didn't believe in it. I didn't. I said, no, I'll leave it. I'll play it safe. So, yeah, with hotels, with all that, you're probably looking at 1,500 to £2,000. I thought, imagine me paying £2,000 to watch us get smoked by Real. I'm not doing it. I'll stay in the comfort of my own home. So yeah, man. Hopefully we get to the final. But I can't lie, the road trip would have been elite content. Maybe I should have gone just for that. But yeah, I'll be honest, man. Listen, electricity's going up, people. You know what I'm saying? They're putting the look at Trump's putting all the tariffs up, man. You know what I mean? We can't get nothing to England from America now. Cheap. Everything's going up. I said, no, £2,000 to go to the Bernabeu. I'm staying in my yard, man. Big up Emma who said, see, I'm watching you from New York. I'm going to Spain this evening. Rest assured, Arsenal will win. Safe trip, man. Safe trip. Enjoy. Let's hope we do win. Arteta's press conferences tomorrow. I don't know what time. I'm thinking usually Champions League and that, them conferences are in the evening, but you would think that Arsenal would fly out to Spain tomorrow. So maybe it'll be a daytime one. Maybe it'll be a daytime one. Let's see. Will you go Munich? Maybe. Munich would be difficult because on one hand, best watch along ever, hopefully, if we won it. On the other hand, trip of a lifetime to go and watch. How many Champions League finals are you going to see Arsenal in? I actually had a chance to go to the last Champions League final, but I was a lot younger and the money was high and I didn't do it. And then we lost, so I was glad I didn't go. So it's a difficult one. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on. Let's talk. I almost don't want to even talk about the game, but we'll skip through it. We'll skip through. We always go over the game, so we'll do it. But we're not going to harp on too much. We don't really care. £210 flight, 120 for the hotel, 30-minute walk to the Bernabeu. How much was your ticket? Did you get your ticket at a normal price? You've got a responsibility to your viewers. You know what it is? I probably would end up doing the live stream, maybe. But we'll see. It depends how much the ticket... We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Let's go through this. I mean, what did we have? 14 shots, 3 on target. Sums up Arsenal in the league. That's why we've drawn 12 games. I'll be honest. I can barely remember how most of these guys played, but we'll figure it out. I'm just going to skip through it. I'm not even going to drag it out like I usually do. In real life watch along. No, I'm not going to lie. Imagine if I did that like at iShow speed. That would be unreal at the Champions League final. David Raya in goal. Yeah, the goal was a bit of a wild goal. I can't remember the game that much. Do we just like 6 out of 10 for the whole team, copy and paste? Did anyone play better than a 6? I thought Partey played well, scored a really good goal. Rice had a quality game, good assist, scooping it over people's head. Zinchenko played quite well, should have got on the ball more. The front three was stinky, let's be honest. Waneri was quiet again. Trossard looked drunk. Martinelli just ran the ball out of play. Jorginho, sidewards and backwards. Saliba and Kivior were comfortable. Yeah, I don't think it's even worth breaking it down individually. I would say Partey, Declan Rice were the standout players. We don't even care about this game, let's be honest. I'm not even going to waste people's time. Who came off the bench? Can't even remember. Saka, can't even remember him touching the ball. Odegaard got booked, pulling someone back. Timber, why did he come on? Marina, 6 out of 10. Yeah, end it. End it. Who cares? Who really cares, people? Who really cares? Odegaard's form continued. Master of Disaster. So you've done all that, no ticket, buy outside the ground. I mean, you'll get a ticket, but you'll just pay over the odds. Do you know what? I should have done a review on the Man United game. That would have actually been more interesting. Imagine the ratings I'd be giving them. You know what I mean? Lindelof, -10 for Lindelof. But no, we got to focus on ourselves. Raheem Sterling, sub not used again. But he was convinced in 10 minutes he had to sign him. Raheem Sterling, sub not used. Surely Sterling should be getting a run out in these Premier League games. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Right, let's move on. We drew 1-0 with Brentford. By the way, the game was boring. We've drawn 12 games in the Premier League this season. And that is the reason why we're not winning the title, ultimately. And the problem with Arsenal this season is we don't create enough and we don't score enough. Right? That is the problem with Arsenal this season. And I think the major problem with Arsenal is 2 things. Saka's injury and Odegaard's form are the 2 major problems. When you look at Arsenal, they're our 2 most creative players. Saka creates a lot of chances with his crosses. Odegaard is supposed to be our creative spark. Now, I saw a stat. And I even put out a YouTube short as well if you haven't seen it. But people think I'm harsh on Odegaard. But trust me, he deserves the harsh criticism he's getting at the moment. Because we all know what he's capable of and how talented he is. He has to step his game up, or he has to be turned into a squad player next season. I'm telling you now, there's no time for sentiment if you're trying to be title winners and Champions League winners and things like that. You can't do that. You have to. I don't know what happened there. The screen went blank. I was trying to share the screen. Look at this. Look upon that. Ederson. And I'm not talking about the centre midfielder for Atalanta. Ederson, the goalkeeper for Manchester City, has got 4 assists this season. And our creative spark, the captain, is he better than Mesut Ozil, they were telling me, has got the same amount of assists as the Manchester City goalkeeper. People, if I say what I think, I'll be suspended 6 months. Has a goalkeeper got the same amount of assists as our creative midfielder? I mean, come on, man. Come on. Brutal, but factual. We can't hide from the truth. Only the truth will set you free, people. We need freedom in life. And you need the truth. The Manchester City goalkeeper's got as many assists as our most creative player and our captain. So let's not pretend and sweep under the carpet. Oh, but he was great 2 years ago. Yeah, that doesn't matter, mate. What is he doing this season? He's fading. 2 goals and 4 assists this season in the Premier League. 2 goals. Pillow foot. He's got more yellow cards than goals this season. Nah. Cunha, see Cunha again? Scored. I ain't interested. If they're not good enough, I'm not sitting here saying get rid of him, he's rubbish. I'm saying bring in competition, and if this form continues, you bench him. That's part of progression at a big football club. Players that were starting and doing well, you upgrade on them. You don't go into a phone shop with your phone when your contracts ran out and say, oh, give me the iPhone from 2 years ago when I was on form. You don't say that, do you? You say, give me the new one with the better megapixels and the better camera and all of that. So we might need a better creative spark. Let me just give you an example. Matheus Cunha this season. Bear in mind he plays for Wolves, who have been in a relegation battle all season. 14 goals and 4 assists. 18 GA. This guy's got 6 GA and he plays for Arsenal, who score more goals. Cunha, Eze, Wirtz. That's the direction we need to go. All right. I'm here to upgrade my phone. I want to hand in my, my iPhone 14 or my Samsung S24. I tell you what, mate. Can I have a BlackBerry? A BlackBerry? What are you talking about? Yeah, because, I was on fire them days on the BlackBerry, mate. Yeah, get out the back. Get the BlackBerry. No, but they don't work anymore. They're no good. No one's pinging you on BBM Messenger anymore. That's what we're doing with Odegaard. It's Nostalgia FC. Oh, 2 years ago, he was incredible. Yeah, but this year he's faded. He's playing hide and seek. You can't get away with this, bro. You can't get away with this. His girlfriend had the baby, not him. Anyway, Big C applying pressure, rush hour 2 on Friday. Come on, man. You know what I mean? We got to apply pressure here. Juice Sauce, what you saying about Kivior? Thought he was horrid up until a week or so. Now, man, looks like Maldini. Calma. I'll judge him post-Bernabeu. The Bernabeu. Oh, he said, I totally misread the question. Rush hour 2 all Friday. Oh, that is a horrible question, man. So we're talking about the first Friday. Damn, fam. I love Rush Hour 2, Chris Tucker's one of my favourites. It's Chris Tucker. But then Friday's too much of a classic. Rush Hour 2, that's the one where they're on the... Oh, you've actually stuck me there, I'll probably just go with Friday. It's too much comedy in all of it, but I do love Rush Hour 2 as well, Anyway, great question. Rush Hour 2 is amazing as well. Let's say a draw. 2-2 draw. I'm sitting on the fence. Usually I say I'll always answer, but they're 2 of my favourites, man. That's Chris Tucker at his best. They're so different, but so good. Yeah, I'll avoid answering. I was going to say Friday, but then I'm thinking about parts of Rush Hour 2. Anyway, let's talk Thomas Partey again. Let's go back to Thomas Partey. Is he going to play against Madrid? Maybe. Is he going to be here next season? Maybe not, people. Maybe not. Graham Bailey has said... Hold on. Pisa says, going to the game, Big C. Going to be at the Madrid end. Managed to get a cheap ticket. No brainer. No brainer. You get a better view. Obviously, don't wear an Arsenal shirt. Don't celebrate if Arsenal score. Keep it moving. It's probably harder to get a ticket in the Arsenal end. So, yeah, I think you've done great there. Right. Graham Bailey said, Arsenal have a lot of plans in the transfer market this summer, offering a bumper contract extension to Thomas Partey, who would then be considered a squad player, is highly unlikely at this stage. This is difficult. This is difficult because You could almost argue he's playing his best football in an Arsenal shirt. Yeah. And again, when I read the full article, they're saying that Partey for deals, big money, long contracts, first team football. I'm seeing Juventus, Barcelona, and there was another team. It might have been in AC Milan. 2 Italian clubs, and they reckon Barcelona are interested in taking him. And the problem is he's 30. So if those clubs say, listen, Thomas, we're going to give you a 3-year deal. We're going to start you in centre mid. And we'll give you a 1-year deal. Zubimendi's coming, so you're going to probably be a squad player. He's not going to take that at this stage in his career. Once you touch 30 and over, you need stability. He's got a young child, he's got a family. And the problem is, Arteta, we know Arteta wants Zubimendi. We're going to talk about Zubimendi after this. Arteta's not going to sign Zubimendi for 50 million and bench him for Partey. He's going to promise Zubimendi first team football. Zubimendi's being linked with Real Madrid. So I've got this feeling that Partey's on his way. If we're breaking down reality, there's almost 2 questions you've got to ask. Number 1, is Zubimendi better than Thomas Partey? That's the first question. And for me, he's not. People who've watched more of Zubimendi might have a different answer. So if people watch him a lot in the comments, feel free. I don't mind. And then I suppose the other question is, will Zubimendi become better than Thomas Partey? Now, you're right. Big up Static in the chat. Thomas Partey actually is 31. He turns 32 on the 13th of June. Now, that's the problem. With players like this, you're just going to wonder how long have you got of him playing at that level. If Arsenal gave him a 3-year deal and he breaks down next season, you're stuck with him for over 2 years on 200 grand a week. So I think, and I've said this for months, I think no matter how Thomas Partey is performing, I think he's going to leave Arsenal at the end of the season, which I think is a shame from a footballing point of view. And I think Arsenal should still be thinking, is there a way we can keep him? A lot of you have said I would give him 2 years. I would give him 2 years. I think 3 years is too long for a player that's about to turn 32. I would give him 2 years. Even if after 1 year he becomes a squad player, fine, no problem. You cannot look at a player performing at this level and sit there and say, we'll just let him go. You can't do that. Even if Zubimendi's coming in, Jorginho goes. That leaves you with Zubimendi and Partey as your 6ers. He obviously wants to play Rice as an 8. Marino's the backup 8. And then you get somebody to compete with Odegaard. And there's your 6 midfielders. Zubimendi, Partey, Rice, Marino, Odegaard. For me, it would be Cunha. Because I don't think we get Wirtz. Or you get Eze or someone like that. That's what I'd be looking at doing. But I've got a feeling he's going to go. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Elk said, I'd rather have Partey than Jorginho. Look how long we had El Neni. The thing with those guys, though, to be fair, and I agree, El Neni and these guys should have gone years ago. El Neni was on 50, 60 grand a week. He was just happy to be it. He didn't care if he played 3 games a season. He was just a cheerleader at this stage. Partey's not at that point in his career. Partey's saying, listen, if we really break things down, right, and we're totally honest, Partey's one of the best defensive midfielders in world football. And people might think that's what? Are you going mad here? No, break it down. Tell me the best DMs in the world. Rodri is obviously the pinnacle, Ballon d'Or winner. After Rodri, who we looking at? Caicedo's a bit more box-to-box. Rice you would have put up there. Casemiro's past his best. And Real Madrid have got Tchouaméni. I genuinely don't think Tchouaméni's a better DM than Partey. I really don't. There's a lot of Real Madrid fans who want rid of Tchouaméni. Zubimendi, yeah, he's a very talented footballer, a different player. Barella's not really a 6. He joins in a lot more. He's one of the best DMs around. Gravenberch's been brilliant this season, but it's 1 season. So for me, I think we're making a huge mistake allowing him to go. I mean, twice. And I always say, look, We have to be very careful what we say. Nothing has been proven or unproven at the moment. Innocent until proven guilty. But we know there are things going on off the pitch that may or may not allegedly be affecting the decision making of Arsenal. Other channels won't talk about it. I will talk about it, right? As long as we don't say anything terrible, we can talk about it. We know Arsenal are a PR club, and Arsenal are probably thinking, imagine giving this guy a long-term contract and that case blew up off the pitch. It's an absolute disaster class for that football club. They will be annihilated because people will say you covered it up. You knew something was going on in the background and you kept him because of how good a player he was. As a club, they will be annihilated. So I personally think that could have something to do with it. Allegedly, people. We're here for honest conversation. Other channels are available. We will discuss serious matters on it. He gets booed at every away ground, as you guys are saying. Some things are, are bigger than football. They might be looking at it. But if it's not that and it's football, then, geez, I mean, you're letting a hell of a player go. Master of Disaster said, my friend watching La Liga on a regular basis, he says Zubimendi is not better than Partey at the moment, but in the future, he could be. I think a lot of it is whether Zubimendi can adapt to the league. I don't have any doubt that Zubimendi is a quality footballer. We saw it in the Euros final. He bossed England when he came on. And listen, maybe I read too much into that Man United performance. When I watched Sociedad against Man United, the red flags were out. I watched a washed up Casemiro bullying him off the ball. And I'm looking at it going, well, if Casemiro's bullying this guy in the six, you're the six, You're meant to be the shield, the protection. And I'm looking at Casemiro dashing this guy all over the pitch. I said, what? A washed up Casemiro. You wait till you see Anana, Decore, Joe Linton and these men. They will savage you, bro, like an XL bully. They will chew this guy up. On the ball, getting it on the half turn, it might all look pretty, but when we're getting hit on the break at Anfield and, the Etihad and Everton and them tough places, I don't know about this Zubi-Dubby-Doo, I'm telling you. I don't know about this Zubi-Dubby-Doo. In Scooby-Doo, Scooby was the big dog, innit? Scooby-Doo. But then you had Scrappy-Doo, the little one as well, the little ankle biter. I feel like letting Partey go, you're letting Scooby-Doo go, and you're signing Scrappy-Doo. I don't know. I don't know if it works for me. I don't know if that works. But you need physicality in front of that back four. Rice had it. Partey had it. Rodri's got it. Signing Scrappy-Doo, I don't know, people. Let me know what you're saying about Zubi-Dubby-Doo. I'd have got away with it if it wasn't for you pesky kids, and then they always pull the mask off and it's someone else, innit? Anyway, old times, people, old times. Scooby-Doo, the cartoons back in the day were just elite, weren't they? I can't lie. Big C with a legendary analogy. Because I know you can relate, people. We've all been there. Well, we've already got Velma, to be fair, Monty, and Raheem Sterling. You know what I mean? He runs like Velma, don't he? So maybe we're trying to complete the collection. Ricky said, I'm glad Rice exposed Odegaard, Arteta and Yova after the free kicks. The loser style of play rightfully called out. That's why Rice and Saka cook and Odegaard doesn't. I love it, bro. I love it. Absolutely love it. Man said, yeah, that fraud told me to cross it. He didn't say that fraud, but he basically did. I love the honesty. Most players wouldn't have said that on TV, but Deckers knows what time it is. House of King said, no, Curtis CR7 was a Q since his United days, but went ahead to win a Ballon d'Or. It's double standard. And listen, I'm just saying, bro. I'm just saying what's out there. From what I heard, that Ronaldo case fizzled away. How? We don't know. It fizzled away. Did he write a check? Was he just innocent? We don't know. But the case was dropped on Ronaldo. So, yeah. But listen, we don't know. We don't know. Young Gunner said, yes, we need to sign quality players. We also need to improve on selling. We could easily raise 60 to 70. Who would you sign in the 6 role? I mean, bro, for me, and I've said it for a long time, I don't think we need a 6. I wouldn't sign a 6. The 6 is on the screen, and if it ain't him, then it would be Declan Rice. I would sign an 8. I would sign an 8, people. Because I think we need an 8 more. But he's going to go with Rice in the 8 next. Our midfield next season will be Zubimendi, Rice, and Odegaard. I'll put money on it. That's our 8 next season. But it wouldn't be my midfield. Zubimendi wouldn't be in my midfield. I'd buy an 8 and get a goal scorer. I'm not even certain that Odegaard would be in my midfield next season, to be honest. My midfield next season, right? Let's just assume Partey left. My midfield next season would be Declan Rice. Oh, no, it's not realistic, but my midfield would be Declan Rice, Bruno Guimaraes, and Cunha. That would be my midfield. I would change up the midfield. I still think we've got a bit of weakness in midfield. I would play Rice in the 6 if Partey went. I don't think you need to buy Zubimendi. Bruno Guimaraes, you're not going to get him. He loves Newcastle. They look like they're going to get Champions League football, so you ain't getting him. But I would love to get him. And I would put Cunha in the attacking midfield. I'd put Odegaard on the bench and put him under pressure. So you got to fight back for your place. But it's not realistic. It's not realistic. But yeah, it is what it is. Curtis Yole, the only YouTuber who gives Partey his credit. Other channels have already found him guilty, but CR7, oh so innocent. Is it a colour thing? Yeah, exactly. We don't. This is what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying. There is a lot of double standards, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. 1 year too late for Bruno. We missed the boat, man. When Newcastle were not getting Champions League and that, someone should have swooped and put the money down. But PSR ruined the market last summer. Captain must be Rice or Gabriel Magalhaes. I genuinely think now, and I know we speak about this a lot, Odegaard's got to give up that armband. I'm sorry. He can't keep running around as the captain. I'm sorry. To be the captain, you need to show leadership. I don't see leadership in Martin Odegaard. You're not leading with the way you're playing. And you're not leading with the way you're organising that group. I don't see a captain. I just don't see it. So I think he needs to give that armband up. I don't think he's doing it justice. He might actually improve as a player by just focusing on his own game. He might actually be better off not having the armband. Not everybody thrives being the captain. There's an added responsibility with that. So he might not like it. He might not like it. So I'd get that armband off him. Give it to Gabriel or Declan Rice. They're captains. We know what captains look like, and it ain't Martin Odegaard. Sammy said, Curtis, you're going to the very top, mate. I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that. Big up to you. Big up everyone locked in, man. 2,200 of you locked in. And apparently, YouTube didn't send notifications out to loads of you. I don't know why they're doing me dirty like that. The armband's too heavy for Odegaard. I think it is. Just focus on your game next season. Focus on your game. I give Odegaard 1 more season. Realistically, no one's buying him this summer. Let's give him 1 more season. Ricky, you know what? You've absolutely nailed that. Xhaka became a better player when he took the armband off. Now, it didn't happen the way we wanted it. He told us to F off and threw it on the floor. But there's no doubt he improved as a player. He looked like he could just focus on his game. And look, he had his best season. So, yeah, I think that's a great comment. I'd take the armband off Odegaard, but I don't see him doing it. You got to be brutal to do that. Yeah, let's see. Anyway, let's move on. Zubimendi, people. Zubimendi. Zubi-dooby-doo. Scrappy-doo. Ornstein's been talking. He said, as far as we know, Zubimendi to Arsenal is very advanced and the expectation is that he will come in the summer. He went on to say, he said, this is a personal opinion rather than sourced information. So basically it means nothing. I don't see Arsenal signing both Martin Zubimendi and Bruno Guimaraes. We know of the historical links to Bruno, but that ship seems to have sailed. I'm not sure I can envisage Arsenal paying the kind of money Newcastle would ask. For Bruno, who like Isak, they probably want to keep, especially given he turns 28 this year. Can I just say something, right, that makes me sick in football? Makes me absolutely sick. And again, this comes from the media in this country. Why is a 28-year-old deemed as, oh, he's 28, mate, he's 28. They won't go near him, he's 28. What are we doing here? Zidane left Juventus to Real Madrid at 30 years of age. He was the best midfielder on the planet. And he still bossed world football for about another 4 years. But, it's 28, mate. We can't go anywhere near him. He's limping to the game. He might just give him his pension now. Give him the pension. He's 28. He's washed. He's a midfielder. Modric is nearly 40. He's playing centre mid for Real Madrid. We can't buy a 28-year-old in centre mid. This ain't some 94 paced FIFA right winger that his whole game is built around pace, and when the pace goes, he's finished. I know it's Zidane, but what I'm saying in general, bro, when have centre midfielders been washed up at 27, 28? Midfielders peak at like 29, 30, 31. They understand the game. They move the ball. Bro, I would spend 60, 70 million, 80 million on Bruno Guimaraes at 28. I don't give a damn. The guy's an absolute baller. Pirlo went to Juve in his late 30s. Some of these guys get even better. So what are we doing? Yeah, Aubameyang was 28. Look what that guy did in an Arsenal shirt. They get better and better. This guy's 28, mate. Stay away from him. These guys, and this is the media that have created this. As far as we know, Zubimendi is at a very advanced stage. The anticipation inside Arsenal is that he's coming in. If that gets completed, it's a significant financial outlay. As will be the case when or if a striker is signed. There's also other work to do, possible wide attacker, awaiting Naipan's decision. Perhaps something in the defence and a second goalkeeper. 1 or 2 goalkeepers. Every year we buy goalkeepers. Although there will be exits, I'm not sure recruiting Zubimendi and Bruno would be feasible. See, realistically, right, and this is what I'm reading from this. If we sign Naipan, that's our attacking midfielder. So forget all of that Cunha, Eze. That will be the attacking midfielder, which doesn't excite me. I know a lot of people who've watched him said he's a very good young player, but that just feels a lot lower than the standard that we should be going for. I'm asking for Cunhas and Verts and Ezes, and they're going to bring in some guy that sounds like a dish in a takeaway. Yeah, mate, can I have some Naipan, sweet chili sauce, bit of rice on the side? You know what I mean? Taipan, I think that's called, isn't it? Yeah. Naipan, what? Is he going to take us to the title? I don't know. Are we in that stage to be buying a 17, 18-year-old from Norway? Imagine having Odegaard as the creative midfielder and the backup is the younger version of Odegaard. I mean, please. What are we doing here? Cunha's... Naipan? Nah. I hope Naipan rejects us and goes somewhere else. I hope he goes somewhere else. Let's not kid ourselves. We are signing Sesko. All the other names are just for season ticket renewals. Please, no. Berta, you need to show that Italian ferocity, bro. Turn into Goodfellas, Robert De Niro. Berta should speak some Italian to Barella, bring him to the carpet. For me, Barella would be one of my number 1 signings, but he seems to love it at Inter, and they look like they're going to win the league again. They look like they're going to win the league. Masterson, Curtis, have you talked about the 10 billion Kroenke going to pump into a training ground for LA Rams? London Colney, with its concrete pitches, has 0 investment. Yeah, I did speak about that the other day. Listen, are we surprised? We're the bread and the tap water that they bring out when you first arrive. LA Rams, Denver Nuggets, that's the main course and the dessert, bro. We're the dry bread. Do you know what I mean? We know what we are to the Kroenkes, you know? We know what we are. Just every now and then you go to the right restaurant, that bread they bring out, nice and soft, Nice bit of butter. That bread hits the spot. So hopefully that bread goes and wins the Champions League. Yeah, I will be doing a watch along tomorrow, people. I will be doing a watch along. PSG Villa, second leg. Let's see who we might potentially get. Man said we're the napkins. Yeah, we might even be the napkins. I can't lie. It's all mad. Ethan over Naipan. Yeah, that's a good point. But maybe they view Ethan as the backup right winger for Saka. Naipan would be the backup attacking midfielder for Odegaard. Let me read this. I like these comments. Come on, let's have a bit of debate. AB says, Curtis, I can't believe you are downgrading Odegaard because of one dull season. He is by far better than Eze and Cunha, one of the best attacking midfielders in the world. All right, let's break that down. I'm always open to opinion. I'm not one of these channels that only my opinion counts. Let's break it down, right? A dull season. I mean, yeah, very, very dull. He's by far better than Eze and Cunha. I'm not sure about that, first of all. He's got 2 goals this season. Cunha's got 14 playing for Wolves. Now, if Odegaard's... What would Odegaard do playing for Wolves? Do you know what I mean? So that by far... Cunha starts for Brazil, by the way, now. And got 14 goals playing for Wolves. So I'm really not sure when you say he's by far better. And Eze's a silky baller. We just want to see him at a better club. But Cunha, I don't think he is better than Cunha. One of the best attacking midfielders in the world. I mean, for me, when you start saying things like that, I'm talking about Bellingham last season, 20 goals. Kevin De Bruyne when he's been player of the year. That's what I call best attacking midfielders in the world. Odegaard is nowhere near those levels. Nowhere near. He's a whole level at least below that. In fact, if I said to most people in the comments, how highly do you rate Bruno Fernandes? You'd say he's a good player. I don't think many of you would be saying he's a world beater. And he ain't on Bruno Fernandes level. And most people call him a little rat and a cheat and that. He ain't on Bruno's level, bro. He ain't on Bruno's level. So, I'm sorry, for me, I don't think he is one of the best attacking midfielders in the world. He's a good player. He's had a stinker of a season. Last season he was decent. The year before he was very good. But you've got to be consistent to be a top player. And he doesn't do anything for his country really either. They can't qualify for international tournaments. So what has he really done in his career to be considered one of the best attacking midfielders in the world? He's not. He's just not, I'm afraid. In my opinion. Tommy said, you should name your Thursday show Real Madrid Rehab. If Arsenal go through to the semis, big up C and the chat. Listen, if we get past Madrid, I won't even be chatting about Madrid. We'll be in a Champions League semi-final. I will be going crazy about Arsenal, bro. You know what I mean? But hopefully we knock them out and finish the job. Why Was Me said, Sesko, Naipan, Zubimendi and Feist would be a great summer. That would not be a great summer. That would definitely not be a great summer at all. Sesko, don't want him. Naipan, I don't want him. Zubimendi, I mean, if it's at the cost of Partey, that's not amazing. So, no, that would be a horrible summer. That's like going Bognor Regis when you thought you was going to the Bahamas. So, nah, not for me. Not for me. Incognito, Havertz would get more GA than Odegaard in the 10. Havertz for me is, I mean, in midfield, it didn't work, but he was left 8, the Xhaka role. It would be interesting to play Havertz in the actual 10. But for me, Havertz, I'm done with Havertz, but the manager's clearly not done. Was that about Feist he was on about? What, the B-Tech David Luiz from Leicester? Now I know you're trolling. Man spent $2 to troll. I didn't even realise who he was talking about when he said that. But no, we definitely don't want him. It's got to be Gyökeres. It's got to be Gyökeres. If it ain't Gyökeres or Isak or Osimhen, it's a failure in my opinion. What's he saying here? Naipan made his debut at 15. He has a lot of experience for an 18-year-old. Would you want to sign Miles Lewis-Skelly or Nwaneri if they were at other clubs? Yeah, but do you know the thing? They've already shown they can do it. And I think with Naipan, the expectation and the standard has to go up. Because if we win the Champions League, we have to try and win the league and Champions League next year. You can't win a Champions League, then fail. And if we don't win the Champions League, I think this season is looked upon as a failure. As I said earlier, we've drawn 12 games in the Premier League, and I think we're going to draw more games in the Premier League with 6 games to go. You've got to say to yourself, this isn't a good season. I know it hasn't been terrible. We finished second, but it's not a good season. We haven't been entertaining. We haven't been exciting. We haven't scored enough goals. We've drawn games we should have won. Yep, you can talk about injuries. You could talk about PGMOL. They are factors outside of the club that we can't control. We can't control somebody pulling their hamstring, or that maybe the manager can, because maybe he's overplayed them. But I look at things that they can control. Why did they not sign proper players in the right positions in the summer? Why did they not address the striker position in the summer and then didn't address it in January? So you've almost wasted a season in the Premier League. And then this summer you're going all out for a striker when most of the fan base said last summer, go and get a striker. So you've waited 12 months. So, yeah, for me, I think the Premier League and the 2 domestic cup competitions have been a major disappointment. But obviously, a Champions League win would fix everything. What I will say about the Champions League, we've got a long way to go. We've got a long, long way to go. Like, we're only 4 games away from winning it, but those 4 games are all going to be extremely difficult. Real Madrid at the Bernabeu, tough game. PSG home and away, really tough games the way they're playing. And then a final, Inter, Bayern, Barca, really tough. SG, there are certain fan bases would rate as success if Arsenal go through to the semi and finish in second. With injuries would be the excuse, yeah. Yeah. Prime said I really wanted an FA Cup. We haven't been to Wembley for years, bro. You know what I mean? We haven't been there for years. If you played Fabio this season instead of Odegaard, he'd probably become a decent player. I just don't think he's the answer. Whatever the problem is, I don't think Fabio Vieira is going to solve it. I think he's done at Arsenal. Joba said, the thing is, we don't watch Naipan like hidden gems that clubs like Brighton and them buy, is we don't get enough of them. We keep looking for proven. Wonder why we don't snap up talent like others. Yeah. So I don't mind Arsenal buying a few of these young stars, and they're not that expensive, and you see if you can find, because Brighton keep finding these Caicedos and, you know, all these players that we end up paying like 100 million for. Elk said it's insane. The best part of this season has been the international breaks. Arsenal's been beyond stressful this season. The international breaks made me realise Arsenal can be a health hazard. You're not wrong. That last international break, I was literally like, please, just give me 2 England games. Like, I need to get away from this. I love the last international break. I can't lie. But if we, you know, this Champions League's breathing life into the season. So let's see how that goes, man. A TK can stay at Frankfurt. I think... Oh, Eka TK. So I think he'll be bought in the summer. But from what I'm reading, Arsenal aren't in for him. I have to admit the Omri celebration made me like him more as a player. Ricky said, Isak or Gyökeres. Nico Williams or Matoma. Rodgers or Cunha or Eze and Zubimendi. I mean, that's the kind of summer I'm talking about. Mitoma would be tough. Remember, the Saudi club offered 70 million for him. They rejected it. So you'd have to pay a fortune for him. Isak or Gyökeres would be amazing. I'd love Rodgers as well. He'd cost a lot. But that would be a great summer. Give me Cunha, Matoma, and Cunha. Man wants 2 Cunhas. Buy the hidden gems alongside the proven, and that's where it is. Don't buy the hidden gem to try and play in a position that we desperately need. You buy them alongside. You know, you got a little 20, 30 million left at the end of the window. You go and buy a little gem for 12 million from Brazil or someone like that. But I don't want them gems being thrown in at the deep end. Rodgers would be a brilliant signing. And Mbeumo, I don't want Mbeumo personally. I thought he was poor the other day, but I think we've got bigger priorities than Mbeumo. He plays on the right. I've got no problem with Nwaneri being Saka's backup on the right. We need a left winger who starts. We need a striker who starts. We're probably going to need a starting centre mid. And we're going to need at least one versatile defender. We need 1 or 2 matchmen. Bro, I've said it all the time, yeah. When you look at Arsenal's front three and you look at Saka, right? When you look at Saka on the pitch, that's why he got that ovation when he came on against Fulham, because you looked at him and you thought, oh, actually, you're better than all our attacking players. It's clear. You've just got that aura about you that you're better than the rest. We need another 1 or 2 players on Saka's level. We need the left winger to be somebody that can win you the game, a striker that can win you the game, and Saka. All of a sudden, that front three is madness. If it is Nico Williams and Gyökeres, even though I'm not completely convinced by Nico Williams, if you can develop him and use that pace and he frightens right backs, that's a more productive front three. That's what we need. We didn't just win titles back in the day because we had Thierry Henry. We had Robert Pires. That's a match winner. We had Freddie Ljungberg. That's a match winner. That guy could pop up at any given moment and score. That's why we were so successful. That's where the success came from. Razar said, Rodgers is from Halesoe in my city, Birmingham as well. He's playing for a Brummie club. Big up, man. I know Birmingham very well. For those who don't know, I played pro at Kidderminster Harriers. I was constantly travelling in and around Birmingham. Used to stay in Erdington quite a lot near Star City. Anyone from Birmingham, you'll know, man, you'll know. I was in Birmingham a lot, bro. Overmars and Elka. Yeah, exactly. You had to have more than one. You got to. You look at Liverpool, Salah, Mane, Firmino, could all win the game. City had Sané, Sterling, Aguero. Did I say Mane for Liverpool or Sané? Yeah, Mane. You got to have like a front three. You look at Real Madrid's now. There's 3 of them. You look at Barca now. There's 3 of them. Do you know what I mean? Rafinha can win you the game. Lamine can win it. And Lewandowski can win it. And that's why they're so good. That's why they win trophies. Because usually one of those 3 players will produce something. You know? If one of them has a bad game, the other one does. And that's the difference. That's what Arsenal don't have. It's all Saka. Martinelli doesn't win us enough games. Trossard doesn't win us enough games. Neither does Havertz. So that's the problem. We need match winners. Even though I don't rate most of them, Liverpool have options on the bench. We barely have enough start. Yeah, even Cody Gakpo. Them man are good players to bring off the bench. They're signing players that are starting at other clubs and putting them on their bench as squad players. You know? Gakpo was highly rated starting at PSV. He's on Liverpool's bench. You know? So that's the kind of thing we need. Toro said, the only way I'm content with letting Partey go is if Miles Lewis-Skelly is the one replacing his role, not Zubimendi. Bringing Joro Hato to let Miles Lewis-Skelly focus on midfield. I personally think at the moment Lewis-Skelly will stay at left back, because when the inverted left back thing works, it's a cheat code, and that's what you saw against Real Madrid. Let me just say, one of the biggest reasons that we beat Real Madrid was because of Skelly in that inverted role. Because what happens is you end up with 4 against 3 in midfield. So you've got Odegaard, you've got Rice, you've got Partey, and then Skelly goes in there and becomes the 4th. And then when you've got a 39-year-old Luka Modric who can't run, Camavinga and Bellingham, it's an overload. You destroy them. They can't cope with it. And then at times you even get Marino dropping into midfield. So it almost becomes 5. That's why sometimes Saka crosses the ball, Marino's not there, because Marino's even dropping into that midfield. So we end up absolutely dominating the midfield. So I think he will look at... Look, Lewis-Skelly's a left 8, but I think Rice will be the 8. Everything tells you that he wants Zubimendi in the 6. Rice will be the 8. Unless he gives up on Odegaard, then, which I don't think is going to happen, I think Lewis-Skelly will stay at left back and be that ball-playing left back. Yeah, he'll have to up his level defensively at times. He's been caught out a few times, but he's still young. He's inexperienced. So when that inverting thing works, it's incredible. I have to say, when it works, it's amazing. You dominate the midfield. And him stepping into midfield, he might end up with more freedom than actually being in midfield from the start of the game. Would you rather have Morgan Rogers or Cunha? It's tough that because I think Cunha's a better goal scorer. Rogers is probably a better all-round midfielder, and he's younger as well. I think at the moment, I just don't think you can get Rogers. That's my point with Rogers. I love Morgan Rogers. I'd happily take him. He signed a 5-year deal, and Villa are going places, man. Villa are going places that I just don't think you could get him. I think he cost the English tax on top of it. I think you pay 80 million plus for him. Rogers a brilliant footballer. But yeah. Anyway, we're gonna round up from there. Big up to everyone locked in. Appreciate everyone for the support. 2,350 of you tuned in on this Monday. Hope you've all had a great Monday. Man United got cooked. Tottenham got slapped. Chelsea couldn't beat Ipswich. Their own fans are booing them. So yeah, it was a funny weekend. Liverpool won. Somebody messaged me yesterday saying, "Oh, Liverpool have scored," like as if like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna be devastated." I said, "Good." He was like, "What do you mean?" I said, "Get it over and done with." I saw a thing. If Liverpool win their next 2 games, the guard of honor is Tottenham. I said, "Yeah, man, Liverpool win them games." I'm not still in this category of, "Oh, I hope Liverpool lost so we can catch them." We're not catching them. Get it over and done with. Van Dijk, last minute winner. Yes, get in. Yeah, glad. Get it over with. Make Tottenham Hotspurs give them the guard of honor. Win your next 2 games, Liverpool, and wrap it up. End it. End the season. I don't want Arsenal doing the guard of honor. That's what I want. And so, yeah, man. As I said, people, I'm doing a watch-along tomorrow. Villa against PSG. Obviously, Wednesday will be Real Madrid, Arsenal watch-along. Thursday, we're going to do Man United against Lyon. And then tomorrow in daytime, I'll have a live show as well. We'll do press conference reaction and all of that stuff. See what Arteta's saying about Lewis Skelly. Lewis Skelly? About Thomas Partey, whether he's fit. Joba said, "I've heard a lot of good teams from scouts close to the big clubs on Naipan. He's similar to Lewis Skelly, Waneri and Yamal, in that he's fearless, would try things unlike Odegaard. A breath of fresh air, in my opinion." Yeah. He's highly rated. He's playing first-team football at a young age. White Glove, if our scouting department was worth anything, we'd be signing the next Rodgers instead of paying inflated fees for players that broke through already. Do you know what the problem is? Is that Morgan Rogers came from Middlesbrough, right? Came from Middlesbrough, who are a mid-table team in the Championship. Maybe just above mid-table. If Arsenal went and bought a player from Middlesbrough for £14 million, deep down, and not all of us, this doesn't apply to all of us, but some of us, we're a bit snobby. We look at the CV. We're going to go, why are Arsenal buying a £14 million midfielder from Middlesbrough in the Championship when we want, I don't know, Camavinga, or we want Barella, or we want Frankie de Jong? A lot of big clubs don't allow you that time to sign players like that and try and develop them. Man United, City, Arsenal, Villa do. Liverpool, they don't really buy players like that. Not recently anyway. Liverpool did with Robertson and players like that, and it worked well, Joe Gomez. But Arsenal haven't done it for a while because our fan base is probably a little bit snobby. I personally don't mind it because there's a lot of good talent. Ivan Toney, Watkins, these guys, Rodgers, they all came from the Championship. So, but like you said, yeah, Wenger was doing that with Aaron Ramsey and players like that from the lower leagues. Yeah, Gyökeres was at Coventry. So it's that snobby nature where they're thinking, can we buy a player from the Championship? Morgan Rogers is at Arsenal now. He's probably not as good a player because he's probably not going to play every week coming from Middlesbrough, where Villa have just thrown him in and said, play him every week. Bro, you're right. Like, we paid 17, 18 million for Lokonga from Anderlecht. And look at the state of him. So I'd rather sign Rodgers from the Championship. But yeah, Championship's a tough league, man. You're bang on with that. I actually said this for a long time, bro. We need to start. Our owners need to buy some clubs. All these clubs are doing it nowadays. They need to go Spain, buy a club. Go France, buy a club. Feed a club. Yo, you got a star player, bang, you're coming to us. We need to loan out 3 players, they're going to you. Then you can look after your own setup. You can go, right, I can get you in La Liga because we've signed a smaller club, bought a smaller club. That's what Man City are doing at the moment. Savio at Girona, Borla, yeah, you're coming here. 30 million. We need to loan someone out. We loan him straight to you. There's no conversation. It's done. Kroenkes need to go and buy a couple of clubs and create a dynasty of clubs. You know, then we can loan players out to better levels. So, but we'll see. We will see. Anyway, big up to everyone locked in. Really appreciate your support today. Hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Let me just read out this super chat. Joba said, also reports I'm seeing around is that Berta is already in talks with the club to get rid of several recruitment staff to revamp things. Yep. And it's needed. Get rid of some of these guys, man. And get proper football people in. These guys don't know, a lot of them, they don't seem to know the game. So I'm glad. Big up to Joe. But big up to everyone locked in. Enjoy the rest of your Monday, people. I will be back tomorrow around 2 o'clock. And then tomorrow night, 7:45, Villa against PSG. Watch along. Enjoy your Monday. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. We're 30 away from 92K. Take care, everyone. See you tomorrow. Bless.